So first, I am very glad that this webinar is hosted by District 298 and District 305. So my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Padmini and District Chairman Bindu. And we can start 7 minutes before because many of us have joined. So Bindu, please do start this webinar.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Now we start the meeting. Meeting call to order. Now I request to District Chairman of District 298, Padmani Kavali Murthy, for the inner wheel prayer.
Instill in us, O Lord, the true meaning of friendship. Never let us forget that we are all thy children. Notwithstanding the differences in our culture and creed, endow us with a desire to serve our fellow men, remembering that we too often need help whenever or wherever the need for service arises. Help us to be ready to serve, enduring to make our badge of inner wheel worthwhile, ensuring that we have not lived in vain. Thank you, Bindu.
Thank you, Padmani ji. Good evening, all, and very warm welcome to everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all in this national webinar on the women health, organized by our esteemed association. Today's gathering reflects our collective commitment to empowering women through knowledge, awareness, and protect care. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt welcome to our respected association president, Mrs. Jyoti Mahipalji, whose vision and encouragement continuously inspire us to take meaningful steps for women's welfare and well-being. I also warmly welcome our association executive members, past international inner wheel presidents, past association presidents, my fellows, DCs, all the 26 districts, district executives of District 298 and 305, and all the districts, and torch bearer, all the past district chairmen, our lovely PDCs. A special welcome to our distinguished keynote speakers, Dr. Aruna Tatia ji, Dr. Sandhya Bhatt ma'am, and Dr. Mangala Lakshmi, who have kindly joined us to share their valuable insight and expertise. We are truly grateful for your time and contribution. Now, I welcome to all our inner wheel sisters from across the country. Your active participation and enthusiasm always make our initiative successful and impactful. Women's health is foundation of a strong family and a progress society. It encompasses not only physical health, but also mental, emotionally, and social well-being. Unfortunately, women often neglect their own health while caring for others. It is time to change that mindset. Women is very important for our society. When we take care of women's health, our nurture an entire generation. Today's webinar focus on creating awareness about some of most pressing health issues facing by women: cervical cancer, breast cancer, menopause, and anemia. Cervical and breast cancer continue to be among the leading cause of death in women, yet they are preventable and curable when detected early. Through regular screening, awareness, and education, we can save countless lives. Menopause, though a nature transition, often comes with emotional and physical challenges that need understand and support. It is essential to encourage open conversation about this important phase of women's life. Anemia, especially among young girls and women, remains a silent epidemic in our country. Addressing it through proper nutrition and healthcare are vital of women's strength and productivity. As Michael Obama beautifully said, communities and countries and ultimately the world are only as strong as the health of their women. Let today's session be a step forward in spreading knowledge, compassion, and action because healthy women build healthy homes, and healthy homes build a healthy nation. With this thought, I once again welcome you all and this enlightenment webinar. May the discussion today inspire to us create a future where every woman's life is dignity, awareness, and good health. Thank you. Now I welcome to our association president and national representative, Honorable Jyoti Mahipal ma'am, for their opening remark, for their vision and health webinar.
Thank you so much, dear Bindu, for a warm welcome and your loving words. A very good evening and inaugural greetings to host District Chairman Dr. Padmini Kabali Murthy and Bindu Gupta, District Executive Members of District 298 and 305, all Association Executives, District Chairman and inaugural dignitaries, keynote speakers Dr. Aruna Tatia, Dr. Sandhya Bhatt, and Dr. Mangla Lakshmi, and all inaugural members present in this meeting. Friends, there is a famous proverb: he who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. So, when health is absent, wisdom cannot reveal itself, strength cannot fight, wealth becomes useless, and intelligence cannot be applied. And being a women's organization, it is very natural for us to think and to work for women. When women take care of her health, they become their best friend. Friends, women's health is not just about her body, it's about her mind, her dignity, and the right to thrive. We all celebrated yesterday Karwa Chauth. Why do we do Karwa Chauth? We pray for the well being of our husband. But charity begins at home, and first we all need to take care of ourselves. If we are healthy, then only we can take care of our family. Today is an International Day of Girl Child, and hosting this webinar, Inner Will Care for the Health of Women and Girl, is an initiative to remind us that taking self-care is not a selfish act, but it is a very powerful act of the self-respect and strength. From breast cancer screening to mental health workshops, our mission is to ensure that every woman is seen, heard, and cared for. This is not just service, it is a sisterhood in action. Together, let's innovate, build a world where women are healthier, stronger, and truly empowered. Thank you, District 298 and 305, for hosting this webinar, and my heartfelt gratitude to our keynote speakers, Dr. Aruna Tatia, who is a champion of the Matri Raksha project, our own member, Dr. Sandhya Bhatt and Dr. Mangla, for accepting our invite. We all are eagerly looking forward to hear from you. I'm sure your insights and wisdom will definitely deepen our understanding of the importance of women's health. And before I invite keynote speakers, I just want to inform you all that last week we had a South Zone meet at Kochi where the thrust area was Innerville Care for Health. So Isha, can we have the PowerPoint presentation on that?
Yes, ma'am.
So just keep on going. Can I handle this, Isha? Can you make me the host?
Sorry, ma'am.
Can you make me the host so I can run this power PPT?
Sure, ma'am. I'll give it.
Yes. It's better to make all the speakers the host so they can handle the PPT.
Ma'am, they all are co-hosts. They can do that if they want.
Yeah. So please do make me.
Yeah, I've made you the host, ma'am.
Yeah, sure. So please have the PPT on the screen.
Just a second.
Yes. So this was the Innerville in action for the health. Innerville is always doing the work for the health, and I want to inform you all that taking the report of the 3 months from the website, maximum work Innerville member have done in the health sector. Out of all the education, women's skill, empowerment, environment, maximum work has been done by health. And what Innerville is doing, we can do an awareness program, creating facilities at hospital, health checkup, blood donation camp, and mental wellness. Next slide, I'm not able to go. Isha, next slide. Yeah, so what we can do is, here. We all can create the basic infrastructure support at the hospitals by giving specialized equipment, patient-centric amenities, conducting health and hygiene program, and women and child care. For this webinar is dedicated. Today, I think you all have seen this small video on this Angel Care Kit. This, when I visited the Innerville Club of Madras, they really made a very beautiful kit to welcome new mothers and baby. So this project will be very, very encouraging for the new mothers to take care of the child, where you can supply the nutritional things to the mother and basic clothes and cosmetics for the child. And we have named this year the Angel Care Kit. MHM program, menstrual hygiene program, and the most important is a cervical cancer vaccination. Now, next slide. This is a picture about this Angel Care Kit. I don't want to say, I think everyone is doing. Let's do it more, because a new mother needs a lot of mental support as well as nutritional support. Next slide. Yes, menstrual hygiene management is very, very important. This is one of the preventive program for any further serious disease. So let's create the awareness in the schools, colleges, villages, and let's promote the use of the menstrual cups. I informed the last South Zone meet also that once a girl is used to menstrual cups, she will never go back to the sanitary pads. And that is one of the very, very important initiative we Innerville can start. And next. Yeah, so let's make the menstrual hygiene kits where you can keep the sanitary pads or menstrual cups, soap, undergarments, and the educational material. Go to school and conduct, call as a MHM program, menstrual hygiene management program, and that will really that will create the awareness that how important it is to create the menstrual hygiene. And menstrual hygiene day is on 28 May. So let's do celebrate this day with campaigns and rallies. Next one. Today we are going to have the focus on the cervical cancer vaccination. I'm not going to speak much on the cervical cancer because we have Dr. Sandhya Bhatt who will brief us about it. Only what I want to, if I speak in Hindi, then मैं हिंदी में बात करूंगी तो साउथ में नहीं आएगा, वहां से तुरंत रिक्वेस्ट आ जाएगी कि आप इंग्लिश में करो. So I'm trying Hindi and English both. एक बार मैं हिंदी में बोलूंगी, एक बार इंग्लिश में बोलती हूँ, but little fast. Next slide. Yeah. Okay. Now, keep it here. So, friends, in the South Zone meet, we had an agreement with the Rotary Club of Madras, and साउथ जोन मीट में हमने रोटरी क्लब ऑफ मद्रास के साथ एक अग्रीमेंट किया है, लेटर ऑफ अग्रीमेंट वी हैव साइंड, जिसमें वो हमें 2 doses of vaccination 1,000 rupees देंगे, where you will get, let me finish completely in the English and then I'm saying in the Hindi. So Rotary Club of Madras will give us the vaccination for the cervical cancer from Serum Institute at the rate of rupees 1,000 for 2 doses. Right now we are getting 2 doses at the rate of 2,400 from the Serum Institute. But if you place the order of the vaccination through Rotary Club of Madras, you will get 2 doses of vaccination at the rate of rupees 1,000. Now I also heard from few districts that they are getting vaccination free. If you are getting free, you are fine to do with getting those free vaccination. But if you are not getting free, if you are paying 2,400 for 2 doses, then let's place the order through Rotary Club of Madras, where you will get the 2 doses at the rate of rupees 1,000. And we have also made that minimum order should be for the 50 vaccination, and the coordinator for this vaccination program will be the district chairman of all 27 districts. So any club which can place the order for 50 or more than 50 vaccination, please inform your chairman, and chairman will send them, will coordinate with Rotary Club of Madras. So this is a very, very a great opportunity Innerville has got. So let's do more cervical vaccination. And this, like at my ICI in our vision board, I have said that let's celebrate. We are an organization with more than 55,000 members. So if each member celebrate their birthday or their special days by sponsoring for one cervical cancer vaccination, we can easily do 55,000 vaccination for the girls. We can save the lives of 55,000 girls at in a very easy way without asking funds from anyone. So please, Innerville members, please use I have made the 2 templates. If you want to insert your photo, that's fine. If you want to use this without your picture, that is also fine. These templates, I request all the district chairmen to share with the club presidents. And whenever you are celebrating your special days, please post your picture. Please you post it on the social media and encourage other Innerville sisters to celebrate their special days by sponsoring for the cervical cancer vaccination. So that's all. I don't want to speak here more. Isha, you can remove now this my presentation. So friends, that's all. Now I think without wasting time, let's hear from the speaker. Over to Bindu.
For your golden birds, your vision always guided us, and we can do good for our society. Thank you, ma'am. And now I request to welcome Mrs. PDC, Mrs. Dr. Usha Nandani ji from District 298, introduce our keynote speaker of Dr. Mangla Lakshmi. Welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Just 1 minute, Usha. Friends,
Yeah.
before Usha takes over, I request you all again that please do circulate this webinar link in your group and let's more members join for this webinar. Yeah, Usha, over to you.
Thank you. A very good evening to Association President and to all the leaders and members joined here. I'm here to present about today's speaker, Dr. Mrs. K. Mangalalakshmi Preetham, and she is a member of Innerville Club of Madurai City, District 321, and she is a past club editor. She has done her MBBS from Annamalai University, Chidambaram, and MSOG at Savita Medical College, Chennai. She has completed fellowship in reproduction medicine and advanced laparoscopy from Mumbai. Graduated credential menopause practitioner exam by Indian Menopause Society. Executive member of Madurai Menopause Society. Conducted health awareness programs in many schools and colleges and been as a faculty in many national conferences, published research for various index journals, and very important is she is the daughter of district chairman of District 298, Dr. Batmini. And here I present Dr. Mrs. K. Mangalalakshmi to this August gathering. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
ma'am, for the
Usha.
kind introduction.
Thank you, Usha ma'am. Welcome, Dr. Mangla, for the perimenopause or menopause. Your guidance is much important for us. Welcome, Mangla ji.
Thank you. Can I have my presentation, ma'am?
Yes,
Screen
Mangla,
Yes.
we all are eagerly waiting to hear from you
yeah.
because most of us are now at the stage where we are experiencing the menopause.
So good evening to one and all present here. I thank you for this opportunity, wonderful opportunity. So the topic given to me is care for menopause. So, but I have taken it as healthy and graceful aging. So first, before going into menopause, I want you all to know the difference between the word perimenopause and menopause. So perimenopause is usually few years before attaining menopause. It is usually between the mid-40s. And menopause is what we tell the patients and the women is, if they have 12 months without periods, then the women is termed they have attained menopause. So few years before the menopause is called perimenopause, and 12 months without periods is called menopause. So usually in India, it's around 45 to 52 years in Indian women. So why we all are very eager to talk about menopause is, many women undergo so many symptoms and so many changes in their body, and you all have to know which is very cautious and when to meet a doctor and how to deal with this. So next 10 minutes, I'm going to tell about the symptoms of the menopause and perimenopause and how to deal with this. So the main problem, the culprit is estrogen. So estrogen is a hormone in a female body. So the estrogen hormone deficiency causes so many symptoms in women's body during perimenopause and menopause. So what do you need to know? So as I already told, the estrogen hormone is a culprit, and because of its deficiency, it gives changes from head to toe. So women undergo so many changes in their body. So the symptoms which we must be aware of is mainly hot flashes. So many women undergo hot flashes, and we have to know about our bone health, skin changes. There will be mood swings, urinary incontinence, brain fog, that is, they'll have confusion, forgetfulness, and vaginal dryness. So I'll be talking everything in detail and how to deal with it. So hot flashes. So in the study, they have proved that around 75% of menopausal women, they undergo hot flashes. So hot flashes is what happens in hot flashes is the women will have a sudden feeling of heat, sweating, even though they are in an AC room. So, and also it will be associated with a disturbed sleep. So how to deal with hot flashes? It might happen at any time. It might be immediate So how to deal with hot flashes is always you have to keep your environment cool. You should avoid going in hot summer. You have to wear light cotton cloth, and you have to avoid spicy food, caffeine, smoking, alcohol. If after doing all this, if hot flashes are still severe, we have medications to reduce the hot flashes. And it is again because of the deficiency of the hormone estrogen. So next is bone health. So this is very, very important, not only for menopausal women and also for perimenopausal women. So from the age of 40, we all have to take care of our bone health. So everyone used to tell you have to have a lot of calcium and vitamin D in your diet. So as per the recommendation, we tell the women to have 1200 mg of calcium and 600 to 800 international units of vitamin D per day. So, but if I tell like this, the women cannot know how to take and how much to take. So I'll be giving you certain foods which are rich in calcium. So the foods which are rich in calcium are milk, broccoli, tofu, chia seeds, almond butter. If you're a non-vegetarian, you can have fish, beef, and meat. So, for example, if you take a 250 ml of milk, it contains 300 mg of calcium. So, as per the recommendation, you should have 4 tumblers of milk to meet the requirement. So, you can also split. For example, if you take one slice of fish, it contains 250 mg of calcium. So, like this, you can split up your meal and you can have the required amount of calcium in your body. If still it is not sufficient, you can also have calcium and vitamin D supplements. And also vitamin D is very, very important. Why we are so much stressing on vitamin D is vitamin D helps in calcium absorption. So if you are taking calcium, you have to take vitamin D. And the major source of vitamin D is sunlight, which nowadays we are not exposed to sunlight because we are inside the indoors. Yeah, maximum we are spending our time in indoors in AC. So vitamin D exposure, sunlight exposure is very, very less for us. So I suggest you all to have a sunlight exposure at least 15 to 20 minutes, 3 times a week in morning. So before 8 a.m. Or after 4 p.m., 4 to 5 p.m. So that will be the ideal time. If you go in the mid noon, that is around 1 or 2 p.m., it will be very hot and that might also cause, sunstroke and all. So we prefer to go before 8 a.m. and after 4 p.m. And also next thing to take care of your bone health is after the diet, it is exercises. So these are all the very common, easy exercises you can practice in your home. So if you have a chair, you can have the sit to stand exercises. You can do squats. You can have, top raises and you can go for walking. So all these are weight bearing exercises which you can follow in your home. So why we are very worried about this bone health during menopause and perimenopause is our bone mineral density. So the density, the calcium in the bone becomes less after this perimenopause and menopause stage, and thus it will lead to more of fractures in your hip and knee. So we suggest everyone to undergo exercises. And the next is DEXA scan. I want you to tell about this. This DEXA scan is mainly used to access your bone mineral density. So how much is your risk of fractures? So normally a women, we suggest them to do this DEXA scan for a woman at the age of 65. But you have a history of fracture, or if you are already a calcium deficient woman, you can have this DEXA scan done around 50 years itself. So DEXA scan usually measures the bone density from your spine, hip, and forearm. So the next is skin changes during menopause. So I think most of you all would have had this experienced this skin changes during menopause. So the main thing women face is dryness, itching, pigmentation, wrinkles, and sagging. And also they'll have excessive facial hair. That is again because of estrogen deficiency hormone and increase in male hormones. So the one thing mantra for skin changes during menopause, how to take care is moisturize and hydrate. So you have to moisturize. That is the main thing to take care of your skin health, and also hydration. You have to at least have 3 to 4 liters of water, and that will definitely have a change in your skin. And the next is mood swings. So mood swings, many women would have faced mood swings. We all would have faced during a menstruation time itself. But in menopause time also, as a research, they tell that around 50% of the women they experience mood swing, irritability, anxiety, and depression. So if you are having mood swings, kindly get a help from your doctor or from your colleagues or from your family members and how to deal with it. So if you think you have mood swings, this one picture shows how to deal with your mood swings. So you should have a sound sleep, you should hydrate yourself, you should take care of your diet, you should do exercises, and the most important thing is yoga and meditation. So yoga and meditation, it seems to have a definitely a positive effect on your mood swings. So many studies and researchers have been done, and they have told that women who practice these yoga and meditations, they have lesser mood swings than the women who doesn't. Urinary incontinence. This is another problem which women face on their day-to-day basis during perimenopause and menopause. This is mainly because of the deficiency of the hormone. Their pelvic muscles weakens, their bladder emptying capacity decreases. So because of this, they have frequent urination. They want to pass urine as soon as possible when they have that urge. They cannot control their urine. If they cough or if they laugh and all, they have dribbling of urine. Many women have this problem. So for this, we ask the patient to do behavioral therapies. So behavioral therapies is we ask them to So we ask them to have a bladder diary. So also we ask them for dietary changes. So behavioral therapies include everything like lifestyle changes, weight loss, fluid management. That is, we ask them to take lesser fluid after 7 p.m. in the night so that they can avoid night urination. And we also tell them to do pelvic floor exercises. That is also called Kegel exercises. So what we tell the patient is how we, control our urine. So like that, we have to control the abdomen and pelvic muscles for 10 seconds, and we have to follow that for 15 times per set. So for a day, you have to at least do 45 times. So now itself you can all do. So just control, you have to squeeze your abdomen and pelvic muscles and hold it for 10 seconds. So for like this, you have to repeat the same thing for around 15 times. So that is 3 sets you have to do: morning, afternoon, night. This Kegel exercises have strengthened pelvic muscles, and women have seen a drastic change in their urinary symptoms. So you can also follow this. And if all these behavioral therapies are not working out after many months, then we also have medications for those incontinence. And finally, surgical options are also available. So vaginal dryness. So this is also another common symptoms which women face. And for vaginal dryness, we have two approaches, level 1 and level 2 approach. The first thing what I tell the patient, whether they are perimenopause or they are in the reproductive age, I tell them don't use any perfume, any fragrance, anything. Don't use anything. Vagina will clean by itself. So don't use anything to your vagina. Just use a hot water to clean a vagina. Don't use anything else. It will kill the good bacteria present in the vagina. So as you all see, everyone they face, around 70% of the women they face this vaginal dryness. But in perimenopause, 90% of the patients they have this vaginal dryness. So as I told, we have lubricants for this vaginal dryness. We have vaginal moisturizers, and please avoid these perfumes and deodorants. And also there is a food called phytoestrogens, which I'll be talking on the next slide. And if that doesn't work, the second level will be estrogen cream, because the deficiency is estrogen here. So we give you estrogen creams and hormone supplements. So phytoestrogens. So phytoestrogens they are estrogen-like compounds. They are found in plants. So I suggest all the perimenopause and menopause women to include phytoestrogens in their diet. So the phytoestrogens comes in 4 different components like isoflavones, stilbenin, comistin, and lignin. So ideally, the women should take 50 milligram per day. These are all present in our common day-to-day life diet which we are taking. So isoflavones. So as you see, isoflavones It is present in soya milk, butter, tofu, protein bars. Lignans, it is found in flax seeds, whole wheat, cereal grains, fruits. Stilbenins, you can remember all the berries, blueberries, raspberries, cranberries, strawberries, everything has stilbenins. And cosmetins, it is found in broccoli and sprouts. So you can split up your diet. You can include all these components in your diet from breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because these all contains estrogen. And if you have already, you are deficient in estrogen. So if you take all these, definitely your symptoms will improve. The another thing women face is brain fog. So brain fog, usually the women they forget, they have difficulty in concentrating, they have confusion, and they have mental fatigue and headache. So this is a very temporary thing and will definitely improve. This is mainly because of the hormone fluctuation, the decrease in estrogen levels. So for this also, we tell them to do dietary changes, adequate sleep, and lifestyle changes. This will definitely help. If at all the symptoms are not improving, we also have medications for this to improve the symptoms. So I have talked about all the symptoms to be symptoms you all gonna face during perimenopause and menopause. So now it is the symptoms which you should be cautious during menopause, after menopause. So after attaining menopause, these are all the 5 symptoms. You should be very, very cautious. So if you see any of these symptoms, you have to go meet your gynec as soon as possible. So once you attain a menopause, and after this, you should not have spotting or bleeding. It is abnormal. If you have an unexplained weight loss, it is abnormal. If you have abdomen pain and distension, it is also not a good sign. And breast changes. So any changes in the breast, like a color change in your nipple or areola, if you have sudden pain, lump in your breast, or discharge coming from your areola, so all these are not normal. So definitely you have to go meet your gynec. And persistent excessive white discharge. So all these 5 symptoms are cautious symptoms. So if you have this, don't delay or hesitate. Go meet your gynec as soon as possible. This is all after your menopause. So finally, the take-home points, what I want to tell is what to do is you have to have a balanced diet, stay physically active, practice stress management, stay hydrated, get regular sleep, take calcium and vitamin D in the form of diet, or if not, the doctor will suggest you supplements, have a regular checkup. And what not to do is don't self-medicate yourself. Avoid processed foods, saturated foods, because these might trigger your menopause symptoms. Don't ignore the persistent symptoms. Limit alcohol and caffeine. So if you follow all this, you will all have a healthy and a graceful aging. And the theme for Indian Menopause Society for the year 2025 is the lifestyle medicine. So let's all embrace good lifestyle medicine, healthy food, regular exercise, sound sleep, and mindfulness. Empower women to age with grace and energy. So explore menopause. It could be the best time of your life. And I really thank Jyoti Mahipal ma'am, Association President, National Representative, Host District 305, District Chairman Mrs. Bindu Gupta, Host District 298, District Chairman Mrs. Padmini Kabalimuthi, for giving me this wonderful opportunity on this prestigious forum to talk about menopause. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mangla, for being with us. It was a very, very informative session. I think most of us are suffering from either from the symptoms or from the menopause. So this will definitely help us, as you said, to accept menopause with grace and to take all the precautions so that we come out of all the symptoms, all the side effects of the menopause. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that such a young doctor of Dr. Padmini is with us. And I will request Dr. Mangla that if you allow us, we can share this PowerPoint presentation with all our INERVIN members.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So now, Bindu.
Thank you, Mangla. As
and 1 minute, anyone has any question? Because Mangla, this, I was going through the chat session. There was a one query from the Saritaji that if we take the calcium regularly, then we can have it. There's also doctor says that there will be calcium deposit on the heart. So that was a one question. Another question which comes to all of us nowadays, we are not advised to avoid milk actually, because taking the milk that has a effect on having the cancer. It increases the chances of having the cancer, having the milk on the daily basis. So what are your answers on these two questions?
Yeah, so regarding the calcium deposits on the heart, we have to get ourselves checked regularly with calcium and vitamin D by blood test. So you have to keep it in a normal level. If it is even high, it is also not healthy, and if it is very low, also deficient, also it is not healthy. So if the calcium levels are low, then I don't think it will be a problem. And regarding milk, milk you can have regularly, but not. So whatever I said, diet you have to split. So milk alone you should not take. You have so many options for calcium-rich foods, so you can split everything and have.
So shall we take milk or not? That's a very million dollar
You can definitely you can take.
But the milk is not coming pure. That question has come up in the WhatsApp chat. What about that?
It's not coming pure.
Yes.
Okay. I think we can take because there are some brands they have pure, or you can also go for cow's milk directly. In substitute of packet milk, you can go for directly cow's milk. That they say A2 cow's milk, they have good amount of calcium, so we can also have that.
Thank you so much, Mangla. Yeah.
Thank you, Jyoti ma'am, and thank you, Mangla ji,
Thank you.
for guided us a good food habits, importance of nature, even sunlight, bone health, skin changes, mood swings. It is very important for the women's. What can we do for fitness? All the topics are covered with you, and very good session and good knowledge you have given to us. Thank you so much. Now I request to PDC Dr. Sudhir Rajiv, District 305, for introduce of our keynote speaker, Dr. Aruna Tatia ji. Welcome, Sudhir Rajiv ma'am.
Hi, a very good evening to the association president and all members present. It's such a pleasure to be in a webinar where we take care of ourselves and take on the responsibility of looking after ourselves, because that's one thing that we have not been doing for so long. So thank you for giving me the privilege to introduce Dr. Aruna Tatia, a lady whose biodata, I think if I read it, and if I read it on the website, it's going to take the entire time. So in short, it's my pleasure and privilege to welcome Dr. Aruna Tatia, MS, and a person with a fellowship in minimal access surgery, a fellow of the Indian College of Obstetricians and Gynecologist. Dr. Aruna Tatia has been the director of GPT Healthcare Limited, and she has spearheaded expansion of ILS multi-speciality hospitals across Kolkata, Tripura, Dum Dum, Howrah, and Raipur. She has performed 10,000 plus advanced laparoscopic and robotic gynecological surgeries. She is a member of Rotary International and Rotary Club of Salt Lake Metropolitan Kolkata, District 321, with the dedicated service of 30 plus years. She has held leadership roles as President, Assistant Governor, GSE Chair, Medical Mission Chair, Aide to Governor, and whatnot. And the list of awards is Service Above Self Award by Rotary International, highest individual honor for 2021. And it is, let me just tell you, that it is only 45 people in a year who get this highest recognition from Rotary. Many congratulations to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And she has got the Chikitsa Samman Award from the government of Tripura. She has led 21 Rotary Foundation grants, 5,000 cataract surgeries to her credit, 700 mobility aids, mobile MCH hospitals, 600 income generating vans, rickshaws, rainwater harvesting, and disease eradication projects, and what have you. Key projects are Matri Raksha, diagnosing and treating anemia in 20,000 women of Bengal of reproductive age group aligned with Anemia Mukt Bharat. She has participated internationally in medical missions in Nigeria, Madagascar, and Sierra Leone, offering vital medical and surgical care. As if that was not enough, she is also an environmentalist, and she has helped, her efforts have helped to restore mangrove plantation. She has led a pilot mangrove restoration in the Sundarbans with 1,000 saplings, engaging local communities and creating ecological impact. She's actively expanding projects with national and international partners to restore green cover and combat coastal erosion. Ladies and friends, join me in welcoming Dr. Aruna Tatia with a thunderous applause. Welcome, Dr. Aruna Tatia.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Aruna.
Yes, ma'am.
My video seems to be still.
No, we all can see you, Aruna ji.
Mhm.
We can see you.
Yeah, but
Ma'am, your camera was off before, that's why I sent you the request. Now it's on.
hello?
Yes, Aruna ji, we can see you.
Yeah. So, a very big thank you to Jyoti Mahipal ji for inviting me over for this prestigious forum over here.
It's my pleasure that
Forum
you
of Inner
accepted.
Wheel Club of India. And I'm really happy over here, especially to be talking about anemia, which is plaguing the Indian women all across. And this burning problem is so huge that it has led us, our club, to think about the special project that is the Matri Raksha, where we are taken to a screening about 20,000 women all across Bengal. And to our surprise, as against the government figure of 49%, we have found whooping around 70 to 72% of the women suffering from anemia. And most of this anemia, you will not believe, is because of malnutrition, because the women are not eating nutritious food. So much we have been doing projects for so many years at different parts of Bengal, and everywhere in all our health camps we have been finding women, not only the rural but even the urban women, who do not know what is a normal menstrual period, whether they are bleeding, what they are bleeding is a heavy bleeding or it's a normal bleeding. And this has really prompted us that it's a huge gap in creating an awareness amongst the women. And I'm so glad that you have taken up this project of just creating awareness among the women, besides all the projects that you are doing, especially the cervical cancer vaccination, which is on the order of the day. You people are doing, even us in the Rotary are doing, because since it is not in the government program, we should be taking it upon ourselves, where we can extend this cervical vaccination to the maximum girls and
Yes,
bring down our cervical
I
cancer
interrupt here.
rates.
As I say about the urban women, I know my many friends like who are having very good diet and doing exercise, but still they are suffering from anemia. No, there was many of us we feel that we are having the good food, we belong to good family, we can't have this. So this is very important thing. This anemia awareness that we should keep check our hemoglobin is very important
So,
for.
Jyoti Mahipalji, if I ask you,
Yes.
Most of the women who are there in this forum only, that what is a normal period? If you are passing clots during your periods, would you call it normal? No. You are keep on passing clots, and after about 4 to 5 months, you are the one, if you test your hemoglobin, it will be anemia. So it is over the period of time that you are passing small clots, and which together forms a heavy period. So if any of the women is passing clots or having periods which is very nearby, coming within 15 days, coming within 20 days, that means they are bleeding twice, whereas they should be bleeding only once. So they are bound to be having anemia. So hence, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on this topic, which is very close to my heart.
Thank you.
Can we have a slide? Can we run to the slide, please?
Yeah, Isha, please have the presentation.
Yes. Right. So, friends, here I am bringing greetings from my hospital, that is ILS Hospital in Kolkata. And what I'm going to be speaking is going to be an eye opener for all of you, especially speaking from adolescent to menopause. Whatever the problems that comes across the woman in her life cycle. Next, please. So, gynecological problems is not one age related. It begins from adolescence and continues till menopause. Next, please. And a woman goes through many stages of life, like, next, as a young girl, as an adolescent teenager, then she becomes a wife, then she becomes a mother, and also a mother-in-law. Next, please. So her problem, since she passes through so many stages, her problems are also different at different stages according to the age. And we'll be talking about it. In the adolescent, that's a period between when the breast starts forming, the pubic hair starts coming. That is the adolescent period. And it also starts once a period starts, then her further growth is slowed down. Next. So problem during this age group, when there can be menstrual disorder, there can be delayed puberty. That is, the first period can be delayed. Abnormal facial hair, you would find most of the girls complaining that we have lots of facial hair. Mothers are worried. What will happen if she has so many hairs? Then we'll find difficulty in getting her married off. So there is some problem if she has a facial hair, definitely, and one should visit a doctor. And one can also complain of white discharge or leukorrhea even in this young age group. Next, please. So, if the period is delayed, the first period, nowadays the first period is coming between 9 years to 11 years. So, if your period does not start even until 11 years, then you must go and see a doctor. Many times you would find at that time that she is having absent uterus. Her uterus is not there, or the vaginal tract is not formed. As a result, she is having period, but she is not passing it down. So, immediate correction can be done in such cases. Next, please. Now, as a young girl, she may face irregular periods, that is, the periods in the beginning when she starts menstruating. It can come every 1 to 3 months. Or there could be a delayed first period, it can come even after 13 years. And many girls, when they have experienced the first period, they experience a very heavy period. So much so that she is incapacitated, becomes pale. If she becomes pale, incapacitated, one must visit the doctor who would prescribe definitely medicines to control this menorrhagia. Otherwise, that heavy bleeding will leave her drained of all the energy. Next, please. So if she has a very heavy period in the childhood, don't worry, give her rest and give her small medicine that can be found at home, and that should be in a period of about 3 to 5 months. She should become, her hormonal cycle should become normal, and she will have a normal periods. Next, please. So, but there are certain other causes also which causes irregular period, like thyroid disorder. She may have a very high thyroid, obesity, which is nowadays very common among the young girls, Many of the girls are not, most of the girls who come to my clinic are not fond of any home cooked food. This is a story with each and every household. They like all your chips and colas and chocolates and cakes, etc. And it leads to obesity. Once a person becomes obese, it causes hormonal imbalance, and that can reflect on the menstrual cycle. Polycystic ovarian disease. Now, this is a disease which is becoming very common, alarming it has become, and this can because of small cyst forms in the ovary. This is definitely because of irregular hormonal released in the body, and that is a result that most of the ova are not released from the ovary every month. As a result, she fails to have a cycle every month and may skip a cycle for 2 to 3 months. So this is a very alarming situation in India nowadays, and we have a responsibility to see that our children do not suffer from polycystic ovarian disease and they become active. Then stress. Today, stress is everywhere. Stress of exams, stress of coming first in the class, stress of choosing your career. Everywhere there's a stress. Children should be taught how to deal with stress. Next. So polycystic, as I said, it's a children experience weight gain. There can be abnormal hair growth. That is mostly because of the male hormone being more than the female hormone. So if the body has more male hormone, it will produce more hair in the face or in the arms or over the tummy. Now, usually watch your girls whether they have hair below the navel. If they have hair below the navel, it is a sign of polycystic ovary disease. If they have hair over the lips or the chin, it is again a sign of polycystic ovary. So recognize these signs and seek help early. Irregular periods. So these are all the symptoms of a polycystic ovary. Next, please. So this is the reason for polycystic faulty food habit. Nowadays, most of the processed food is very high calorie, and that leads to prominent weight gain, and irregular hormone are secreted from the body, lack of exercise, and a rapid weight gain. You would often find there is a stria on the thigh or on the lower abdomen. That is because of the rapid weight gain. The skin underneath gets stretched and the marks are formed. Next, please. So long-term effect of polycystic, short-term is irregular periods, fine. But as the girl grows into adult life, she may suffer from infertility, and later on she may develop diabetes. So diabetes can come to her early, and diabetes is nothing but a metabolic disorder. And later on, as she ages, goes into reaches about 40 years of age, she may suffer from breast cancer or uterine cancer. So these are the long-term effect of polycystic. Idea is to warn everybody, please do not let polycystic ovary affect your girls. Treat them early so that they have healthy food and come back to normal cycles. Next. Now, as a young adult woman, again a lady may suffer from heavy periods, or it could be because of hormonal imbalance, or it could be because of small tumors in her uterus that we call fibroids. There can be ovarian cyst also, which may lead to painful periods, dysuria, I mean burning sensation while passing urine, or a lump in the abdomen, or pain abdomen. So these are the other signs of the ovarian cyst, because ovarian cyst, if a woman suffers from ovarian, these are the signs that you will get. Maybe having recurrent urinary tract infection, very severe pain during periods. Do not ignore them. Please go to your doctor, seek your treatment early. Next, please. So now we talk about heavy periods. What exactly is heavy period? Please, next. So excessive bleeding more than 80 ml per cycle, that is in one cycle of 5 days or 6 days, or any period which is lasting longer than 7 days. This is the definition of heavy periods. So if any one of you is suffering from this, consider yourself to be suffering from heavy periods, and you must go and seek the help of a doctor to find out why this is occurring. Next. So this menorrhagia, it really dominates a woman's lifestyle. She's unable to fill her professional duty or her family obligation or responsibility. She's unable to go to office many times because she feels weak. During her period, she would miss the office hours because she's afraid she may stain her clothes. In such case, this is really very bad. Next, please. So these are the day-to-day life gets hampered, and if one is unable to follow her day-to-day life and have to rest during her periods, consider that she is suffering from heavy periods. Next, please. So 1 in 5, how common it is. You'd be surprised to know about 1 in 5 women is suffering from heavy periods in the age group of 30 to 52. Now, if you translate it in terms of our population, 2.5 to 3 crore women in India are suffering from heavy bleeding. It's time that Inner Wheel Club takes it at a larger scale to start screening the women for menorrhagia and anemia. So, next. This is the usual stories that the women say, that I feel so heavy, I feel drained all the time, and I'm unable to do my work. And as a result, she becomes irritable. Often the husbands say, well, she has become irritated. Children say, mother has become jittery. But if you take the woman's perspective, she is anemic. She is unable, she doesn't have that energy to do the work that she is expected to do. And as a result, she becomes irritable. So try and sympathize with her. Find out why it is happening. It may be anemia. It may be too much of workload that she's unable to cope up. And if you interact with the physician, most of the physician would say that, okay, you are suffering from this thing. Try and live for it till around 45 years, and then later on we will remove your uterus. This is most of the story. Next. So this is the effect of the heavy periods in the pictorial form: tiredness, fatigue, breathlessness. You cannot walk up the stairs. When you walk up the stairs, you feel tired. There's a lot of palpitation, and there's a dyspnea, breathlessness. You can experience blackout during your periods. You feel you may fall down. There's a dizziness. If any of such thing happens to you, please take care of your own body first. Go to a doctor and do not wait. Next. So I'm going to delve upon the reason for the heavy periods. First is the hormonal imbalance, that is the DUB, which can be easily treated by medicine, no problem. But then the second is the fibroids or the fibromyoma. Now these fibroids are very innocent tumors of the uterus. Depending upon at what place they are growing in the uterus, they cause various symptoms. If the fibroid is growing inside the muscle or inside the cavity, they will cause very heavy periods. But if the fibroid is growing outside the body of the uterus, they will not get heavy periods, but they will form lump, or they may cause increased frequency of micturition. That means you feel like urinating again and again. So that may be the first symptom it can present. So be aware of your fibroids. What is the location? Very small fibroids, definitely we need not to worry. But as they grow, they will produce symptoms. Then these are polyps. Polyps are small tumors, grape-like tumors that are inside the cavity, and they really bleed quite heavily. You can get spotting every now and then, and may get periods every 10 days or 15 days. Then last and but not the least, we must be aware of cancer of the uterus. if you get very heavy periods, especially at 45, 48, that time, very heavy periods, then please go to the doctor, get yourself checked, get an ultrasonography done, check whether what is the lining of the uterus, whether you're suffering. If required, can get a biopsy done. Do not neglect it. Nowadays, the cases of cancer of the uterus is really increasing quite a lot, and we must be aware. We have to spend a lot of our life outside menopause. We should keep our body healthy so that we can enjoy a life after menopause. Next, please. So this is a small story of a 13 years old girl. She lives with her parents and two brothers and a young sister. She goes to school and she helps her mother with the household work. Her normal diet is rice and watery dal twice a day. Vegetables are cooked only once or twice a while. She's very fond of food like noodles and burgers and frequently enjoys school canteen during the recess. She feels very weak and is always exhausted. Her grades in the class are falling as she cannot concentrate at class. She feels irritable and does not like playing when she is even panting on smile effort. Can anybody guess what she is suffering from? What has happened to Reena? What are the other signs and symptoms that she may be having? Next, please. Yes, you guessed it very correctly. She is having dizziness, tired, fatigue, low energy, maybe having rapid heartbeat because the heart has to pump quite rapidly during exercise, and frequent headaches because particularly whenever she exercises, she has headache because the blood is not able to reach the brain. Lethargy, lack of interest in playing and studies, leg cramps, again pain in the legs, mainly it is because of calcium deficiency. And moreover, this anemia can lead to her frequently falling ill. And छोटा सा एक तो कोल्ड हुआ उसको हो जाएगा, छोटा सा थोड़ा सा वायरल इन्फेक्शन हो जाएगा उसको हो जाएगा. So at a drop of the hat, she is becoming ill because her body does not have the resistance power to resist the disease. Next, please. So the signs, if you look at the girl, you will find there's, if you like what has been shown in the initial video, the lower eyelid, if you pull it down, you will find it pale. The tongue would be very pale. Over her skin, if you would find, it is cold and clammy. And the nails and the palm of the hand are also very pale. There can be some sores on the tongue. There can be cracks at the corner of the lips, and the nails will become brittle and spoon-like, flattened, just like a spoon. So if all these symptoms are present, then you should consider that she is suffering from anemia. I have to take care of the diet. Next. So this is how you look at the palms, you can look at the finger, you look at the nails, which are spoon shaped, lower part of the eye, where you will find the conjunctiva is very plain. Other sign is you just press the nails and release it. If there's a color that returns to the nail, then it is okay, she does not have anemia. But otherwise, if the nails become pale, then she may be having hemoglobin less than 10%. Next, please. So this is the intergenerational life cycle of anemia. Adolescent enters the pregnant woman with anemia. She gives rise to baby with a low iron and low hemoglobin level. Then if this uncorrected anemia in infancy and childhood, she goes on to become an adolescent with low iron reserve, low hemoglobin, which causes lots of menstrual loss also. And then she goes into adolescent area again with the low iron store. So it's a complete vicious cycle. One must be aware of and break the cycle at one point of time. Next, please. So this is iron deficiency anemia, which is very prevalent in our company, and 50% of anemia is attributable to iron deficiency. Rest 50% would be to the other forms of anemia like basically because of fibroids, polyp, or some other cause. Next. So now, how do we approach and address this anemia? One is food based. One must take food which is rich in iron. Food that is, as has already been told, that food like sesame seeds, then banana is rich in iron, then kule khada that is found in Bengal, it is found, is very, very rich source of iron. Any portion of the banana plant is very rich. Then moringa leaves is that is डांठा डांठा जो होता है वो बहुत ही अच्छा होता है डांठा का फली उससे आप सूप बना सकते हैं उसको सब्जी में डाल सकते हैं उसका जो पत्ता है उसको सुखा के you can make a powder you can take about 2 spoons of moringa powder to correct your anemia so all these food are really very beneficial then khajur is again another food which is very good so all these foods should be taken try and germinate your moong dal and chana and have it, which is also another good source. Now, food supplements like tablets, syrups, and parenteral iron can be given, and public health distribution measures like improving sanitation and hygiene. Because if there is no proper sanitation, can lead to worm infestation, lead to further anemia. Health education of the young girls in the school like you people are doing is really very beneficial, especially taking care of the menstrual health of the woman also, while taking opportunity to teach them about the normal and the abnormal periods also. Then behavioral change amongst the children and prompt treatment of hookworm or malaria, which is very endemic in our country. Next, please. So treatment option would be by medicine, could be oral contraceptive. Doctor may prescribe oral contraceptive or maybe progesterone and some Tranexa, which can decrease the heavy periods. And some nowadays, the next please. Let me just talk about one more. Next please. So this is a very good option that has come in for past 10 years, where this is a medication, same what we take as oral progesterone. This is a complete medication. This is present in this device, and this device can be inserted inside the uterus, and this will remain inside the uterus for around 5 years. Next, please. Now, this is the fibroids that, as I told you, that if you have the fibroids in this location, this is a fibroid inside the cavity, and definitely that will cause very heavy periods. Now, this fibroid is inside the muscle, that is the intramural fibroid. This again will cause very heavy periods. The submucous fibroid, that is a fibroid that is just trying to jut inside the cavity, leads to very, very heavy periods. One must be very careful. And this is the pedunculated fibroid or the subserous fibroid, which does not cause any heavy periods, but yes, they cause pressure symptoms. Next, please. So now, most of the fibroids, if you are in the age group, a young age group and wanting to still have children, one can always remove just the fibroids. By nowadays we have the minimal invasive method, but now if you look at a ball which is there inside the room, and if you have to remove it, either you have to break the wall or you have to make a small holes and retrieve the ball. Next, please. So here you are breaking the wall to retrieve it. That is like doing an open surgery. You put your hand and you operate. Next, please. Or you, and then it leaves such a big mark. Next. Hello. Huh? Okay. So otherwise you make 3 holes and you just retrieve. So this is next, please. So this is before and after in an open surgery, laparoscopic myomectomy. This is laparoscopic myomectomy. You do the same surgery with a minimal invasive. Next, please. And this is laparoscopic ports, very small. You don't even have any pain, you don't have any scars, and you are back and home in 48 hours. Next. Talking about breast cancer, I'll just run through the slide before lack of time, as Jyoti ji has said. Next, please. Breast cancer, definitely, early diagnosis is the key to surviving of breast cancer. Nearly 95% of women who are diagnosed with breast cancer in early stage survive for more than 5 years. Next. What is the amount of women suffering? 1 in every 9 women has a risk of developing breast cancer. Next. So I'm not going in changeable and unchangeable factors. Next, please. Next. So family history of breast cancer, if one has a family history of breast cancer, either the mother or bua or masi, one must get their breast checked every year and get a mammography done every year. For rest of the people who do not have a family history, one can get a breast mammography done every 2 years. But it is a must for the women above 40 years. Next, please. Next. So, any girl who is having a very early menstrual periods before the age of 11 or something, or has a very late menopause, has a high risk for breast cancer. And the racial predominance is also there. Next, please. If you are taking an oral contraceptive pill continuously without a break, that is a very big risk for breast cancer. Next. So if you see this diagram, it is stage 0, it is 100% survival, whereas a stage 1, 98% survival, that is very high. And how do we come that detect ourselves in stage 1? That is only when we are breast aware and we keep on checking our breast every month. And so that small lump, if it is there, you know that yes, this is something new that has happened in my body and can go to a doctor. Next, please. So screening mammography like breast self-examination and clinical breast examination is very important. Next. Next, please. So when should you do a breast examination? If you're still menstruating, you can do it just after your period stops. Or if you're not menstruating, then you can take a calendar and do your breast examination every 1st or 7th of the month. Next. So this is how you do a breast examination. If a shower, when you are soaping yourself, you can just feel your breast around, gently move it from the anti-clockwise or a clockwise direction, and feel for any lump with the flat of your hand, not by the finger. Next. Put your hand behind your head, look in the mirror, find out whether there's any skin changes in your breast, look for any dimpling, any unusual discharge, scares, changes in the skin texture like orange peel skin, or change in the shape of the breast. Squeeze both the nipples, find out whether there's any discharge. Next, please. And you can lie down and also give yourself a check. Next. So you can just scan this code, the QR code, and you will come across the examination, how to do your breast examination. Jyoti Mahapal ji, you can just share it later on. Next, please.
Share with this presentation.
Yes. Next, please.
Yes.
So notify if you notice any lump in your breast, notify your doctor, change in the breast or change in the skin of the breast or any nipple chacha. Please do not delay it. Just go to your doctor. Maybe it is a very early stage. Next. So, but there are other harmless breast lumps also. That is the fibroadenoma, which moves very freely. Now, these are totally harmless, but don't get worried. Your doctor will put you at rest. Fibroadenosis, another lumps which are painful, but they are not malignant, and there can be a breast abscess also post lactation. Next. Next, please. So this is some of the images. This is the eczema of the breast, nipple. If any such thing happens, if you see any woman having the same thing, please ask her to see the doctor immediately. Next, please. This is the unusual size nipple retraction. The nipple gets retracted inside. That can be because of underlying carcinoma. Next. This is the orange peels skin changes. You can, if you appreciate, there's lots of edema in the skin, and because of the underlying edema, the skin has become like an orange peel. Next. So the treatment is, if there's a lump, doctor may offer you lumpectomy, or if you are coming a little bit late, or if it's a very large tumor which is spread along a length of the duct, one can be offered mastectomy. Next. So friends, it's better to prevent yourself than to go for a cure. Take care of your loved ones, sister, daughter, mother, wife, or grandma. Get a well woman checkup done every year. Gift yourself, love yourself, and gift yourself a well woman checkup. And take care of yourself first, because if you are healthy, you'll keep your family healthy. And let's together build a new India. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
And
Karuna ji, for such a detailed explanation with a well prepared your PowerPoint presentation. It was a very, very informative session, but sorry, I had to say
yeah, I know.
because of the
I'm
time
sorry for
constraint.
taking so much
No,
time.
yeah, but it is, and I'm going to share with all my Innerville members a presentation. Thank you, and I hope this presentation will inspire us to take care, especially of the anemia, and we members of Innerville, at least let's take a place to do our breast cancer checkup.
Yes.
That is
Breast
very
cancer,
important.
cervical cancer,
Yes.
and endometrial cancer.
Yes.
These are the three cancers which are affecting the woman. And I definitely invite all of you, the Innerville Club members, to join hands with our Rotary Club to do the Matri Raksha all across.
Yeah, I will put forward in our district
Right.
309.
Thank you.
So much, Aruna ji.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, Bindu.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Opening our eyes towards the problem of breast cancer and anemia. So many things and so many topics are covered, and we got very knowledge, vast knowledge you provided us. It is very meaningful to us. Your topic is very good. We know the prevention is better than cure. और इसी उसमें हम आगे चलते हैं. Now I introduce our third keynote speaker, our esteemed Sandhya ma'am, Dr. Sandhya Bhatt. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Sandhya ma'am. So welcome, Sandhya ma'am. Sandhya ma'am is the distinguished consultant, anesthesiologist, and dedicated Innerville member since 2005. She has served the organization with exemplary commitment as club president from 2006 to 7, district chairman in 2015-16, and currently as club vice chair president for 2025-26. At the district level, Dr. Sandhya Bhatt ma'am has held nearly every key position from polio coordinator, editor, ISO, treasurer, secretary, and vice chairman to the district chairman. During her chairmanship, the district achieved several milestones, record-breaking attendance at events, 17 district project features on the IIW website, and especially appreciation from IIW President Charlotte DeVos. She has served as Association Secretary, National Editor, and Trainer at various institutes across the India. She introduced many innovative initiatives, including launching the association Facebook and Instagram page. The first ever flip book from Sandhya Bhatt ma'am, showcasing the project during the pandemic year. Her professional excellency has also been widely recognized. Dr. Bhatt is recipient of numerous prestigious awards, honors, including the Hill of Fame Award, Doctors of the Year 2024, COVID Warrior Award, and recognized among Wildlife Asia Top 100 Women Doctors. She was also invited as a speaker at the 17th IIW convention in Melbourne and has been featured among the Inspiration Women of Maharashtra by Maharashtra Times. She is National Coordinator for Cervical Cancer. A true leadership, visionary, and compassion doctor, Dr. Sandhya Bhatt continue the inspire through her service, dedication, and passion for humanity. Now I welcome to Dr. Sandhya Bhatt ma'am under the inner wheel care topic, as her topic is guideline for the cervical cancer. It is a vast topic, and ma'am, your introduction is very vast. मतलब इतना बड़ा आपका इंट्रोडक्शन है जिसको मैंने बहुत टाइमली करने के लिए थोड़ा शॉर्ट किया. So sorry for that.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Thank you so much, Binduji, for this introduction. Good evening, friends. Good evening, friends. I think I'm the last player. बोलते हैं ना आखिरी खिलाड़ी.
I request members, please don't leave this webinar. We have one very good surprise announcement after this session. So please all stay with here, because when the doctors are taking time for us, we should give our time to them. So please stay in this webinar. It will be, she will cover up in 15
Just in 10 minutes.
10 minutes she will cover.
My presentation, Jyoti ji, has given me 10 minutes for the cervical cancer. Thank you so much, Association President and National Representative Jyoti ji, for giving me this opportunity to be a speaker, and also for making me the national coordinator this year for cervical cancer. And good evening to each and everyone, the association executives, all the past leaders, international and national, and the district leaders. So Isha ji, can you please share? Yeah. So as we all know, what is cancer exactly? It is the uncontrolled growth of cells in the body, causing tumors or growths. No, but not all growths are cancerous. This is what we need to ponder. So can we have the next slide, please? Yeah. So what exactly is cervical cancer? This is the diagram of the uterus. Cervix is basically the mouth of uterus. Okay. So cervical cancer is where the mouth of uterus, the cancer takes place. Next, please. Ishaji, can we just magnify this, please? Yeah. So basically the earlier slide, so when you, doesn't matter if it is not magnified. So when we see on the per speculum examination of the cervix, it is healthy pink color cervix, which is there, which is the normal cervix. And the earlier stage is the small growth which happens across the cervix, is early stage. And then the later stage where the entire cervix is affected, and then the pelvis is affected. So these are the stages of the cancer. So that is why we always emphasize on screening of the patient. Now, cells on the cervix, they begin to grow abnormally, and sometimes if they are not treated, they become cancerous. However, these early changes sometimes disappear on their own without causing problems. Next, please. Now, we need to know that we all know that cervical cancer is caused by a virus, which is called the HPV, that is the human papilloma virus. Now, 15 to 20% is high-risk cases cause cervical cancer, whereas the low-risk type of 10 to 15% cause the genital warts or other benign lesions. Now, most of the time, if a woman is affected by HPV vaccine, infection disappears without treatment. But HPV, remember that it stays in the cells for years together and later on eventually may cause cervical cancer. Next, please. Now, this is a study which is done by the ICO, that is the Catalan Institute of Oncology, and the IARC, that is the Indian International Agency for Research on Cancer. This is one of the study which is done that India, having a population of 511.4 million women in the age group of 15 years and older, they are at a risk of developing the cervical cancer. And it is also the second leading cause of cancer and second leading cause of in the age group of 15 to 44 years. India accounts to 1/4 of the cervical cancer cases and deaths worldwide. Next, please. We have 77,348 deaths annually. Next, please. 212 women die every day. Isha, please keep on going next. And every 8 minutes, a woman dies, and approximately 9 women die every hour. So these results are extremely scary. These are not falsified, but these are all on the basis of the data what is achieved from this ICO and IARC HPV Information Center. Next, please. Now we have 2 types of this HPV vaccine. Okay. HPV virus. So one is 16 and 18, which are the cancer-causing types. These are the sero type, which is there. 16 and 18, 83% of the time, this causes cervical cancer. And the non-cancer is the 6 and 11, 90% of the time, it causes the anogenital warts, which is there. Next, please. We know the mode of transmission. It is usually sexual transmission, which is the most documented. And we have the non-sexual route also, which is through fomites, fingers and mouth and the skin contact. Next, please. At a very young age, if you start the sexual intercourse, you have multiple partners, sex with a new partner. And in addition, you have who are the potential, that is, there are the risk factors. Risk factors is including smoking, use of oral contraceptive pills, and nutritional factor. Nutrition, why? Because if your immunity becomes less because of less nutrition. Next, please. Now, the signs of cervical cancer, the early cervical cancer usually has no signs. And that is the reason why we emphasize on screening. Now, signs sometimes which the patient says that vaginal spotting or bleeding is there mostly after sexual intercourse. In between the period, spotting occurs, extremely foul-smelling discharge, or postmenopausal bleeding. But remember, postmenopausal bleeding, as earlier speakers have said, it can be because of polyps and everything also. But one of the reasons can also be because of the cervical cancer. Next, please. Now, the screening which is done, it is a test done on the people who are healthy and without symptoms. It is to identify those with higher chance of getting a particular disease. Now, a cervical cancer screening test can determine if the cervix is healthy or not healthy. Next, please. Now, Pap smear is a test which is done. The genital examination is done. This does not require any anesthesia per se. It is just a OPD procedure. The cervix is examined. A sample is collected from the cells around the cervix gently, and it is sent to the lab for examination. Another is the vinegar or Lugol's iodine, which is added. And also there's one more test, which is colposcopy, which is there, where a camera is attached and to the camera. And on the screen, we can see the acetic acid test is there. And the cells which look very different in color. So from those parts only the biopsy is taken and then sent for test. Next, please. Now, screening, what are the recommendations? We say that start early as 21 years. Pap test has to be done between 21 and 29 years. And HPV test is also there, which is a viral marker, as we say, every 5 years between 30 and 65 years of age group. Or a Pap test every 3 years. Next, please. Now, most cervical cancer can be successfully treated if found early. But in middle-aged women who have never been screened, cancer, if it is discovered late, which may have already spread and sometimes difficult to treat. So the golden rule is prevention is always better than cure. Next, please. Now, is this a cancer which can be prevented? Yes. The cervical cancer can be prevented by education, by screening and vaccination. Now, Jyoti ji has asked me to emphasize the importance on this because earlier we have all been knowing what is about cervical cancer, HPV and all. Let's emphasize on each of this. Next, please. Now, most of the time, people are not aware about the tremendous burden of the disease and magnitude. They may lack information or the detection is not happening, or they may have never heard about the cervical cancer. And many times, postmenopausal bleeding or spotting is taken as a normal thing. So unless and until they think, "Arey, ye hota hai," they are not aware about it unless they come to the doctor and then when they are checked and then they are detected. So they are not about aware. So lack of awareness, lack of information and lack of knowledge is the thing which causes. So we need to emphasize and focus on these things. Next, please. Now, why vaccination? Now, aren't we lucky that cervical cancer is one of the cancer which can be actually prevented by giving one simple injection. Now, HPV vaccine, they are very highly effective at preventing the infection of susceptible women with HPV types covered by this vaccine. HPV vaccine should be given in females before they reach an age when the risk of HPV increases. Okay. So we say the age group of between 9 to 45 years. Now, why 9 years? We say कि अरे 9 years के बच्चे को क्यों देना चाहिए हमें? Because जब हम vaccine देते हैं 9 years के बच्चे को, that means they have the maximum antibodies which is present. Antibodies बनाते हैं which gives them the chance to fight against the cancer later on. Okay. Now, HPV vaccine is given in 2 to 3 doses, depending upon the age over a period of 6 months. Next, please. Next, please, Isha. Yeah. Now, we know the key points, all that HPV vaccine is the common virus causing cancer infection. It's also the leading cause of cancer death. Next, please, Isha. Now, once a person is infected by HPV, it takes about 10 to 20 years, okay, for the lesions to develop into cancer. Now, most of the time, 80% of the women newly diagnosed with cervical cancer live in developing countries, and most are diagnosed with advanced disease. But if left untreated, remember, this is fatal. So now HPV vaccines are highly effective at preventing this. Next, please. Next, please, Isha. Now, next, please. Now, do HPV affect the boys? Yes, it does. I'm just not going to go in detail, but it does affect the men also. 1 in 3 men have genital infection and 1 in 5 have very high risk HPV infection. Next, please. And this is a WHO study. So we know that HPV virus affects both the men and women. Oropharyngeal, skin warts, genital warts, anal cancer. In men, there is penile cancer. And in women, it is cervical and vulvar cancer. Next, please. I think we can go to the next slide. It's a repeat. Yeah, next, please. Now, can the men and the male and the female be brought under the circle of the HPV protection? Yes, they can be brought. Next, please. By this, something called as a gender neutral vaccine. Like something vaccine, ये female को देना है, ये male को देना, ऐसे नहीं होता है. This is a gender neutral vaccine, is used for preventing the morbidities in both male and female. And it is proved to be very cost effective, these programs. So this is a study by the IAP ACVIP. IAP is the Indian Academy of Pediatrician, and ACVIP is basically the vaccine studies programs which are done. Next, please. Now, Cervavac is one of the quadrivalent human papilloma type virus where it as I showed in the earlier slide, the 6, 11, 16, 18 serotypes. So this is like a recombinant vaccine which takes care of all the four things, viruses, HPV vaccine. Next, please. It's one of the first quadrivalent vaccine of India. Next, can you just go? Yeah, can we just scroll below, please? Isha, the earlier slide I would like to have. Yeah. So now between the age group of 9 to 14, we need to give 2 doses of 0.5 ml at the duration of 0 and 6 months. And 15 to 26, this is 3 doses, again 0.5 ml, 0, 2 and 6 months duration. Okay. So this is the dosage which is followed internationally. Next, please. Now, much studies are not there, but they advise during lactation and pregnancy, vaccine should not be given. Next, please. Yeah, now this is one of the studies which was done pan-India, basically, you know, where they had these double-blind studies which was done on both the girls and boys. And the immunogenicity and safety of this quadrivalent vaccine was actually kind of tested. Okay, can we have the next, please? This study was a multi-centric study done on the 12 institute. You can see the list of the institutes which are there here. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah, Jyoti ji. Sorry. Haji, Haji. So next, please. Yeah, these are the doses which I've already said. Next. So this study, what was done, we can skip this, Isha. I'll just go to the next slide. Yeah. So what they said that when you're giving the vaccine, there is a good, robust immune response was found out. Next, please. More 1,000-fold rise was observed by this Cervaravac vaccine. Next, please. Now, overall summary, as we all know, it's a robust antibody response is generated by giving the vaccine. Next, please. This was published in Lancet, the oncology magazine. Can we go ahead, Isha? Yeah. Now the supply chain is from the manufacturer, that is the Serum Institute of India, to the warehouse, to the agent, to stockist, and then to the doctors, where the cold chain is maintained throughout. Now, basically, we are all worried of the procurement of the vaccine. Okay. So next, please. Now, this is the Serum Institute of India. This is the email site. You can contact them, and they have said that they will give the vaccine at 1,200.
So now we've offered with the Rotary Madras, they will give it 1,000. So we can.
This is with including the GST, which is there.
Yes.
Yeah. Next, please. So that's it. So for us, basically, we as Innerweal members, we should create awareness programs, education programs for the parents, because most of the time, the parents have this misnomer that abhi se hi ladki ko agar vaccine denge to aage shaadi jaake infertile hogi, bacche nahi honge. You know, these are all kinds of misnomers. So we need to have this lot of awareness and education programs for the parents, because the consent form is also needed. Jyoti ji has shared the consent form. I'm sure she will be sharing with all the chairmen.
I will share this agreement with the Rotary Club of Madras and consent form with all the district chairmen, and district chairman will share with all the club presidents.
Yeah. So these we need to create awareness and screening. Now, as the trust area of Jyoti ji said that keep on having screening, keep on having lectures, keep on giving them information. Like kahin to bhi kaan pe unke ye hoke, it will register in their mind and then they will come forth. You know, there were a lot of things when we had done screening, we had found at least 4 women who came for the screening of pap smear. We had done 2 months back the project. At least this 4 were found to be having in the earlier stage of cancer. And it is extremely important and mandatory that we catch the cancer very early, because ultimately, like, you know, these women they do have small children, they have family responsibilities and all that. So we need to, you know, have them, push them. and educate them. That is what I think we can do as Innerwheel members. Thank you, Jyoti ji, for giving me an opportunity for this.
Thank you, Sandhya ji, for coming and for your deliberation. And I'm sure your presentation will motivate all the members to do more cervical cancer vaccination. And you being the national coordinator, any question, any query regarding like that, the parents are not very willing to give vaccination to the young girls. So that we all need to take more and more awareness sessions with the parents first, and then only this vaccination will be possible. So thank you.
Also, Jyoti ji, sorry, the Serum Institute person with whom I'm in touch, they also said that in case anywhere in India there is a problem of getting the vaccine, they will be, as you said, the district chairman can be the coordinator, and we can be in touch, and they can supply the vaccine pan India. There
is a one question: why after 65 years pap smear is not required?
After 65.
Yes.
See, once, because HPV vaccine agar like infect hota hai, so it takes about 20 years long from HPV virus infection till the time she gets cancer. Okay, so agar 65 tak agar usko cancer hua hi nahi hai, to agar aage bhi nahi hoga. It is that is what is considered.
Thank you so much, Sandhya, for such an informative session, and thank you for coming and all your valuable time. And I want to inform you all that all the 3 presentations will be shared to you all. Thank you so much. Now over to Bindu. And before Bindu takes over, I want to inform you all that Diwali is around the corner. So wish you all a very, very happy Diwali. You must be thinking Diwali time pe, festive time pe, why such a serious topic? But October month has been dedicated to the care for women and girls. So Innerwheel can take care the best care by doing the cervical cancer vaccination and this breast cancer awareness. And I want to inform you all that during Diwali, there are 5 special days. The festivity starts from Dhanteras to Bhai Dooj. So on 14th October, District 301 is going to have a special webinar with Jai Maidan on how to make this 5 days special and how to celebrate our 5 days. So this will be the national webinar with the Jai Maidan. She is a speaker, guide and motivator. So please spread this. Here we need to do registration so we know how many members are going to. 1 minute, Isha. Just keep the slide. Yeah, so I think you must have seen Jai Maidan on the YouTube, and we have seen also as a speaker. And Deepika, are you here? You all need to do registration.
Yes, ma'am, she's there.
Deepika is there?
Yeah.
Deepika, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, thank you so much, Jyoti ma'am, for giving me an opportunity to speak. Innerwheel greetings to everyone present here. My congratulations to Jyoti ma'am, District 298 and 305 for wonderful webinar today. And as Jyoti ma'am told you, that we are very pleased, Innerwheel District 301 is very pleased to host a national webinar by celebrity astrologer, palmist, motivational speaker, and life coach, Jai Maidan ji. Kindly join us for a wonderful session full of wisdom and joy and important tips and the significance of all the festivals which surrounds Diwali. Kindly join us and tune into your Zoom windows on 14th October at 6 p.m. Looking forward to have you all with us on 14th October at 6 p.m. and get beautiful, wonderful tips from Jai Maidan ji to make our Diwali more special and brighten with her tips and wisdom. Thank you. Looking forward, Deepika Bali. This is District Chairman 301. So in anticipation, looking forward to welcome you on my Zoom window.
And there is a registration need to be given to you all. So please do
do fill that. I will be sharing
that
it.
how many members are going to attend this. So thank you so much, Deepika. You are now going to take us from
for giving this
science
opportunity.
you are going to take us now from the science to stars. So we are
Yes,
taking
Science to
five.
Stars.
So in 5 days, we are going from today to 14th. We are all eagerly waiting to hear
So
from
we'll be
there.
enjoying and all the flavors. Today we have such a insightful webinar, and that day we'll have how to make our festivals more beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jyoti ji.
And
Thank you.
now over to Bindu.
Thank you, Bindu.
Thanks. Thank you, Jyoti ma'am, and thank you, Deepika, and thank you, Sandhya ma'am, for giving us the knowledge of cervical cancer and HPV doses and PAP test. All the things are given by you. And now the open session for the question answer round. If you have any question about the
Bindu, there is a shortage of time, so now let's wind up. We have,
Okay.
because it's our practice to finish the webinar on time. We are already 15 minutes beyond, so we cannot take this.
Okay, ma'am. So I invite to District Chairman Padmini ji, District 398, for the closing remarks. Vote of thanks. Padmini ji.
Webinar, I take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who made today's program a grand success. Our sincere thanks to our respected Association President and National Representative, Mrs. Jyoti Mahipal, for her motivating words and a continuous support. A very well-disciplined, a meticulous, a committed personality she is. Even today morning, we had a run-through, and that shows her commitment towards things. And we are very happy, Jyoti ma'am. Our sincere thanks from me and Bindu. My heartfelt appreciation to all the eminent speakers, Dr. Sandhya Bhatt and Dr. Aruna Tandya and Dr. Mangala Lakshmi, for the insightful and very, very informative informations that has enriched us all today. A very big thank you to my co-chairman Bindu Gupta and District Chairman 305 for her cooperation and coordination to make this joint effort a very successful and a very memorable one. And my special thanks to all our district officers, our club presidents, our Innovil members and the participants who really came in and joined us with great enthusiasm and made this session a very interesting and a very engaging session too. Together, let us continue and promote health, happiness and harmony through the spirit of Innovil. Thank you all. Stay healthy, always, always. Thank you.
Thank you, Padmini. Now, national anthem.
Put the hands on the heart. Let's have the hand on.
Isha.
Yes, ma'am. Playing.
Punjab, Sindh, Gujarat.
Thank you, Isha. Thank you,
so
Jyoti
much,
ma'am.
Isha.
Thank you, Padmini. And
Thank you,
all of
everyone.
you.
Thank you once again, DC Bindu and DC Padmini, and see you all on 14th October. Thank you.
Thank
You all
Thank you so much,
coordinated
Jyoti
very
ji.
well, very, very
Thank you
good.
so much, Bindu and
Coordinated this
Padmini.
webinar.
And Isha, thank you so much. Very well conducted.
Very well.
Yeah, very well conducted.
Thank
Actually,
you, ma'am. Thank you
just
so
have to
much.
click a picture.
I'm just adding.
Jyoti ji, with your
Thank you, Isha,
permission.
also for all your support. Thank you so much, Isha.
Most welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, we'll be sharing the PPT. Jyoti
Yeah,
ma'am
please
will
do share
circulate
with the
to
PPT. So
everyone.
we will share in the PTC group and we will share it to all the district chairmen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Yeah, Bindu, you want
Can
to
I close the meeting?
Yeah.
Bindu ma'am, I'll take a screenshot if you will.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you all of you for being with us. लास्ट तक हमारे साथ बने रहे उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी का और नाउ मीटिंग एडजर्न एंड आप सभी का जो हमारे की नोट स्पीकर हैं तो एसटी मतलब मैम रियली ग्रेट संध्या मैम एंड अरुणा मैम एंड मंगला.
Yeah, Mangla spoke very well, very precise.
Yeah, Mangla was very nice. Yeah.
Very nice.
Always, in fact, earlier two speakers were very good. Like,
Yeah,
informative.
good.
Yeah.
And happy Diwali to all of you.
Happy Diwali to everyone.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye. Thank you.